Welcome to Real Estate Real World, where we talk to the movers, shakers, and leaders that are getting it done right now in the real estate industry and beyond. I'm your host, Marguerite Crespillo, and I started this podcast simply dedicated to calling people about what's really happening in this crazy roller coaster ride of real estate. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and stay up to date on the newest stuff by adding yourself to the list at www.realestaterealworld.com. Now, let's dive into the world of real estate. Hello, everybody. It's a beautiful day here in Northern California, and I am very excited to talk to my next guest, who I've gotten to know over the last couple of years, and I just adore her. So I'm super excited to have her here. So meet Emily, your local real estate expert with a side of adventure. I love her. Emily grew up in the charming town of Pollock Pines, but life's adventures took her far and wide. After a stint in sunny San Diego, she ventured out of state, met her husband Nick, and spent a decade dreaming of home. In 2012, they made it official, planting roots in Camino, California, the perfect place to raise their family. Emily fell head over heels for Camino's tight-knit community, the Camino School District, and of course, the local wineries. Emily and Nick's crew includes two adventurous boys, Jackson and Emmett, their spoiled pup Piper, and 3 sassy cats. They chose Camino so their boys could grow up exploring the great outdoors, playing year-round, and hitting the slopes at nearby mountain resorts. Snowboarding is a family favorite. When Emily's not chasing her kids or the perfect snowstorm, she's pursuing her passions. From capturing stunning maternity and birth portraits to trekking the globe, including a bucket list Inca Trail hike to Machu Picchu, she's always up for an adventure. After 15 years in the dental world, Emily followed her heart into real estate in 2014. By 2018, she had earned her broker's license, providing her dedication to the craft. As a full-time realtor, Emily thrives on negotiating fiercely for her clients while staying grounded in honesty, fairness, and a bit of fun. Emily's love for hospitality also shines in her role as a local Airbnb owner and host, where she goes above and beyond to make guests feel at home. She treasures building lasting relationships with clients, fellow real estate professionals, and the vibrant community she calls home. Her hard work has not gone unnoticed. Emily is a certified luxury home marketing specialist, a lifetime member of the El Dorado County Top Achievers Club, 2-time RE/MAX Platinum Club member, Icon Award winner of eXp Realty, and proudly leads a top producing group at eXp Realty of California. And the cherry on top, Emily was voted #1 best realtor in El Dorado County Style magazine 3 years in a row. When you need expert guidance and maybe a recommendation for some local wine, you'll find Emily in the Placerville area. Agent Valdez at your service, on your side. So great to have you, my friend, Emily.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You bet. That was quite a bio, girl. You are a rock star, as we already knew, but there you go. So
Oh, thank you.
I love seeing pictures of you and your kids. You guys love snowboarding, don't you?
'Tis the season. Yes, I tolerate summer just to get to like now. So
And
yeah,
that's
this
so
is
funny because
really
I'm the total opposite. I do not like being cold at all. Like cold is not my jam. And we had a
yeah,
cabin up in Truckee for a while, and I'd go up there and I would just stay inside right by the fire while my kids and everybody else went crazy. So, but snow is beautiful. I will not lie.
it's gorgeous. Yeah, it could be much colder already.
Eh,
I'm so ready.
Well, tell me about this. So you've been in real estate now, gosh, what, 10 years, right? 10 years this year?
10 years this month. Yes.
Oh, this month. Wow, that's very cool. And so you got into real estate. How did you actually end up in real estate? Because you were in the dental industry, right?
Yes. So I was a dental assistant for almost 15 years and I loved it. It was a great career. And, I just always wanted to be a realtor. I used to watch the show like we had like 6 channels at home, and there was like a Coldwell Banker ERA realty show to be like, this pretty 3-2 sits on a hilltop with a laundry room and views, like it's the most boring channel ever. And I just used to obsess over it and watch it. And it's just funny. And my very first broker, who is a dear family friend, was like, Emily, get your real estate license. And I I didn't do it. She was telling me to get my license when I was like 16 years old.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I did it when I was 31.
Well, there you go.
But I'm very glad I did.
You know, the funny thing is you talk about 6 channels on the TV, I remember, and I got a few years on you, but I remember when we really had, like, 4 channels. We had ABC, NBC, CBS, and then we had, like, PBS, right? And then in Roseville, when I started in real estate, they had this, like, public broadcasting channel where they would put ads and things like that, and so I remember when we actually first got to put, like, houses on this channel, and we'd have our little advertisements, and we'd post, alls we could get were pictures. We didn't have videos or anything like that back then. So but it was
Yeah.
so funny because to think about that, that feels like a long time ago, but apparently it
It was
was
just
pretty.
a slideshow of pictures with terrible music, and I was hooked.
And not even great pictures, because back then we didn't have cell phones, we didn't do professional photographs. We literally had, the old cameras. You'd go out and take a picture and have to get your film processed, and yeah.
Yeah.
Life is much easier for realtors these days.
Yes, yes. So I finally got my license, and it was one of the best things I've ever done, and I kind of just did it, for fun. I had a couple babies and I was at home a lot, which was new for me. I've always worked full time, and I shortly became addicted.
Yeah.
Full on addict
That's so funny.
in
So,
a good way.
what I love is that you talk about kind of getting back to basics. We've gone through a lot of changes in the real estate industry in the last couple of years. And what do you remember doing in the beginning that really helped you launch your business? Because I think we have a lot of newer agents in the industry that have come in the last couple of years. And in the beginning, it was easy, right? Because, 2021 and 22, like everybody was buying homes, rates were low. And then all of a sudden things have started to
Mhm.
shift a little bit. So how have you adjusted to those shifts, and what are you doing to really build and continue to grow your business?
Yeah, so in the beginning, I built my business on floor time and truthfully Zillow leads. I bought them. I was with a tiny boutique brokerage, and I was eager and I was willing to spend a little money and kind of put myself out there. But really what I discovered quickly is that open houses became the bread and butter of my business
Yeah.
from the beginning. And even though we had, yes, those couple years where it kind of seemed a little easy to get a sale, we're not in that kind of a market anymore. And I have completely gone back to basics with open houses, postcards, and free Facebook advertising. So it doesn't, I'm not paying for any kind of lead generation anymore, but it's really those things that are like 80% of my business. And so I think that I'm very grateful for that training, showing up, talking to people, following up, being relentless, not over promising, just delivering really good service to
Yeah.
people, and
Yeah.
it pays off.
Well, and you live in kind of a remote area. I mean, you live up in the foothills, right? And so what is the population even of the area that you live?
So my town is about probably, I don't know, maybe 10,000. We have
Mm.
a couple neighboring communities. They're a little bit bigger than that, but where we live, snail mail works. And
It
I
still
get
works
calls,
everywhere. It's so funny.
snail mail, it works and it's not expensive. And if you get creative, and I try to do really different things with my mailers, they're not just like template, like plug in the number and the just sold and the house. I try to really personalize it, and people read it and then they call me and they want to work with me.
Let's actually dig into that a little bit, because I have been doing snail mail since I started, because when I started, that's all that we had. But the interesting thing is that agents have gotten away from snail mail, and the irony
Mhm.
is we're getting less and less junk mail as a whole. And so your real estate mail many times stands out now when it didn't used to because we got so much junk
Mhm.
mail. And so, what inspired you to actually start doing that? And give us some ideas of what you're actually doing with your mailers and how what kind of responses you're getting.
Well, I think the initial inspiration just came from good old fashioned training, like with my initial brokerage, which was a really tiny little boutique brokerage. And the way I was taught is that if you are consistent and follow up, and we're talking years. I mean, it might take years for something that you send out or something that you're building to actually become fruitful, but staying on top of that and not just playing the short game. Real estate is it's relationship based, it's trust based, and those things take time to form relationships. And so I've had mailers go out to people and it took them years to call me. They're like, "Oh yeah, you've been mailing to me and my, ex-wife or something." Like, it's kind of funny. People will be like, "Yeah, you got my name wrong, but you've been mailing to me for years." So I figured we would call. But I try to do things different. So, for example, we had this crazy snowstorm a couple of years ago. And so I put this mailer out and I was like, I don't know where this is going to go, but it's just me. I like to have fun. I like to, have a sense of humor. But we had this crazy snowstorm, and I sent out this postcard of a snowman with a sign that said, like, you know, hitchhiking to Florida. And and then the tagline was like, "Oh, my realtor said it doesn't snow here anymore, or we only get a dusting." And we're in a community where we get 5 to 7 feet of snow.
Right.
And the response that I got from that was hilarious. First of all, just voicemail like, "Hey, we're never selling, but if we ever do, it's going to be with you." Like, that was just
That's
perfect.
hilarious.
So just try to think of different things to connect with people, maybe telling a story on a postcard of the home and, you know, how it was loved by a family for generations, or it's a first time sale, and just adding something that's different, showing that you really care about the people that you represent, and that it wasn't just a sale, but it was a meaningful transaction, and making it personalized, I think, goes a long way.
It's funny because every year, you probably do this too, but I choose a word of the year, right? And my word of this coming year in 2025, the word I chose is consistency,
Mm.
because it's something that I preach and talk about all the time and have taught it quite a bit in the real estate industry because I have snail mailed to my database for, 30 years. And it's funny because it seems to be the one area that real estate agents and probably humans as a whole have the biggest challenge with is that consistent making sure things happen. Even this year, I normally mail every month to my database. And this year I just, life happened. I got sidetracked. And so I only sent out two mailers. And so in my letter, I'm like, I'm sorry. And you think that people don't pay attention, but the crazy part is they
Mm.
really do. Like, I
Yeah.
had a situation, this is true story, years ago. I had skipped sending my letter out for a couple months and I ran into this gal at the grocery store and she says, "Hey, did I get deleted or removed off your list for some reason?" And I was like, "What?" And she goes, "I haven't gotten your newsletter in a couple months and I just love reading your letters." I'm like, "Oh my gosh," I was so embarrassed. It's like, "No, I just didn't get my letter out." So I love because I don't hear a lot of agents that actually do snail mail anymore. And I love that
I
you're
do.
actually doing that.
It works. And I feel like I twist agents' arms to do it, and it
Yeah,
and it really doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but I mean, you're not gonna do a mailer to 50 people and get a sale. You
right.
gotta it's a numbers game. So you've gotta have the numbers, you gotta mail it out, set yourself apart, and it might take a couple years.
So one of the topics that you had mentioned too was about landing listings, right? With the right
Yes.
client. So let's let's move from mailers to listings because obviously you're getting listings from these mailers. So what is it you're doing to land these? Because these people don't necessarily all know you, right?
Right, they don't know me, and part of what I do is I have systems in place where I don't go to a listing appointment until the owner has filled out just a little form, takes 5 minutes. It really helps me not only get to know them, but their motivation so that I know who I'm talking to, why they're selling, what price point they think they're in. I want to make sure I'm working with realistic people. I don't want to take a listing where somebody's realistic and, you know, if somebody says, "Well, we don't really need to sell." I'm like out the
Right.
door.
Right.
I hate that. I hate that sentence. Like, well, then why are we talking? Why am I here? But sometimes I think people say that because, maybe they're insecure or maybe they don't know where they're going. So they say that. So I find out why they're saying that. But it's, you know, the best thing I've done for myself in the last couple of years is be particular. As
Yeah.
much as they're interviewing me, I'm making sure that, I'm working with somebody who has realistic expectations and I set the expectations up front. I don't want to, I want to be able to put a lockbox on and open it up to the world and market it freely. And if I feel like hindered in that way, these might not be the right clients for me. Whereas, 7, 8 years ago, I would do anything to be in anybody's living room talking about real estate. But it's really been a blessing to just start being particular and work with the people who I ask for very little upfront, just a little bit of information. And it's a red flag to me when they won't respond, to a couple simple questions or, you know, share details with me. And so maybe we might not be the right fit.
Well, I love that because the reality is too, is that it sets you both up for success, right? And it sets those expectations so that they are prepared and realistic because I've seen that too many times. I've seen agents take anything that they can get and with a seller who, like I said, is I don't have to sell. And then meanwhile, you have a home that sits on the market for months and you have a frustrated seller, you have a frustrated agent, and ultimately they end up either parting ways or people get upset. And nobody really wants that kind of business for themselves or portrayed out there, right?
Right. Yeah. And like I said, it was a hard thing to do because, I was so eager to just get everything I could. But then what it really came down to is it's happier people in the long run, happier agent, happier clients. It equals more family time at home. But just not being afraid to talk upfront, set expectations up front. And I've been very blessed with just amazing clients throughout the last few years just by having a system in place um, to really separate the serious from the tire kickers. And the same thing goes for buyers as well.
Yeah, I think that it's incredibly valuable. Systems, I love systems. So systems are something that I think a lot of agents struggle with, but are so vitally important. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, yes,
And so
yeah.
tell
And I
us a
did,
little bit about some of the stuff you've done with social media because you brought that up too. Like what well, again, if I go back to when I started in real estate, we didn't have social media. I'm dating myself. But
so
the truth is that it's been
yeah,
different, right?
it is different. And I think that clients expect to have a social media presence. I think that platforms like Facebook and Instagram, they're kind of the new Google. So when people go online, they're not really like Googling best plumber. They're on some sort of a chat forum on Facebook, like, hey, who's your go-to plumber? Hey, I'm looking for, a doctor in this field. It's the new search engine. And so
Right.
I try to make sure that my clients' listings are on there. And I also utilize it when I'm working with buyers to search for those things that somehow you might miss on MLS. So, and this is something that is free. I'm not paying for advertising, but I've probably just did this year out of my last 28, 30 sales, half of them I would attribute to specific social media marketing. And most of the time, it's the way I get them to come to the open house. So open houses through social media, those combined, there it's kind of a no-brainer. And it doesn't cost any money. So why wouldn't you do that for your client? So you do have to prepare yourself. It's kind of a full-time job because when you're putting content out for the masses to see, you're going to get some interesting comments and some criticism. And it's kind of become fun for me. And I've heard that it's actually been fun for other agents reading my replies to those critics. And you have to be kind of witty and thick skinned and mostly I just try to have fun with it. But if you feel like you're annoying people, like, well, pick a different career because that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be getting our listings out to the masses. And if that means, wrecking somebody's day or upsetting the keyboard warriors, so be it.
Well, it's funny because when you talk about how people are searching now, they actually, even more so than Google or searching, they want like confirmation that somebody else has used them, right? They want to know, oh, did
Yeah.
you use this person? Oh, what was your experience with them? And it kind of goes beyond reviews even because like if I'm going to go snowboarding somewhere, I'm going to call you and say, "Hey, where's the best place to go?" I'm not going to necessarily go and search for their advertising and marketing. I think people have like, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word, a BS filter in that they want to know from another human being, not just your advertising and marketing, that yeah, that person was good or that's a great place to go or oh, I loved the tacos at that place or something. They want to hear that voice of another human being. Don't you agree?
I agree 100%. And very often, yeah, I don't think people are even like searching for reviews hardly anymore. They just kind of last minute put out a post. They get 100 answers.
Yeah.
They cut the thread off because they have 20 good people to call. And myself and several of the associates in our firm, that's one way we're landing listings. And that is all, I mean, we're so grateful because these are our clients speaking for us in
Yeah.
the moment. This isn't pre-rehearsed. They're just like getting on there. Yes, we recommend so and so. They did a great job, and we're getting the listings.
Yeah, it's been really impressive and I'm in a couple of the groups, so I see your guys' names sometimes and try to, highlight them and things like that because I don't really work
Mhm.
up in that area. But it's interesting to see. And then you talk about your associates and a couple of years ago you made the decision to join EXP Realty. What caused you to make that decision and how's it been going for you?
So yeah, it was just a decision that took me a long time to make, and I was very happy at my previous brokerage. No complaints. I got along well with everyone, and I was doing very well with sales. But I was doing things differently in my own marketing, and I wanted to brand myself instead of a company. And that was always something I was always kind of battling. And I felt like I was always kind of in trouble, like, oh, don't forget this and that, and give credit here and there. And while I was doing all the work, I was, utilizing my own websites that I had found worked, my own mailers that worked, which weren't necessarily in house provided. And so for me, I always felt like it was really important to just be around the right people. And with my recent brokerage change, it really allowed me to hand pick who I wanted to surround myself with, who I felt like I could trust. And we have a phenomenal group.
Yeah, you
Uh,
guys do. I love
I,
you
I
guys.
have no, I have no complaints. And actually, I'm able to go on vacation for the first time and just be like, hey, I've got 3 or 4 excellent seasoned professionals that I just absolutely trust to take care of my clients in a way that I feel like I would take care of my clients. And to be able to let that go and have freedom and be home more. It's it was an unexpected blessing that I thought initially was just going to be more money,
Yeah.
because that's what it was. Initially, I mean, it was a financial decision that I felt was right for my family. It came with so many more bonuses that I feel are irreplaceable. To have relationships and colleagues that you work with that you can trust, I think is huge.
It's interesting because EXP recently over this last year added the tagline where the pros go to grow. And I love it because I've been here for 8 years now. And I love it because it does feel that way. It feels like it's the next level from, whatever company you're coming from. But it feels like that next level where you get to have the collaboration that I was independent and operated my own brokers for many years. So for me to be able to be here and collaborate and hang out with amazing people like you guys in your group, I just love it, and being able to be around when you guys are having, activities and talking to people. It's great. It's just become a culture like I don't think I had personally experienced before. And
Yeah,
it's
I had
been
not
fun to watch
experienced
you
that
guys
either
grow.
before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and that it I mean, just to be able to share, I'm not good at holding back. I mean, I say what I want to say. I'm generally just kind of a passionate person. I love giving, sharing, and I noticed a direct correlation between the level that my business grew when I started opening up and sharing with other people.
Yeah.
So, and that was something I thought I was supposed to do the opposite, kind of keep to yourself, don't share your contacts, don't share your best vendors and photographers and marketing tactics. Now I tell everybody in our group, I tell them exactly what I'm doing. I don't hold back. And it's like my business just exploded since I started revealing all my secrets. So I'm going to keep
Well,
doing it.
you keep doing it because you're great at it, first of all. But, before we even wrap up today, we have to talk about your newest adventure, which is you recently bought your first flip. Oh, before I say that, I have to say, so if you guys see her glass right there, hold it up, hold it up. I am laughing because she gave one to my husband last year and it is his favorite. And I'm like, I'm going to have one made with my name on it because my husband is walking around with an Emily Valdez mug.
I'll get you one. Yeah. You said the
But
best, but like branding, you
I
got
know, I was just cracking up. I'm like, I guess I need to have those made too because my husband's walking around with another realtor's mug and I love it. It's great.
You're a good
So
sport.
I am. Well, tell us about your newest adventure. You bought your first flip.
I did. It's been it was scary.
I
Even
bet.
so, it's so funny. My tax accountant, I told him, what I did. He goes, I work for like 80 real estate agents in the county, like big names. He goes, they all say they're going to do it, and I'm waiting for that phone call. He's like, you did it, and he said like no females are doing it. I'm like, what? Like
Yeah.
that's crazy. But I get it. I was scared, and it, a little bit of risk up front, but it's going really well. I I super enjoy the progress. It's so fun to just go over there every couple days, see what's going on, pick out the finishes. I've learned so much in the last month. And I'm like, wow, this is a gift. We have licenses to do something, to have an opportunity that a lot of people don't have. And why are more people not doing it? And I think it's just that what it was for me, it was the fear of the unknown. But I'm already like ready to get the next one. So it's been a super joy. It's been fun, a little scary. It's going to be, I think, very profitable, and it might just kind of be my new thing.
So what has been the biggest aha that you've had in doing this?
In flipping,
Mhm.
flipping, ooh, I think, oh God, you caught me off guard. I don't know. I think it's I think it's good to be I've gotten a little I'm super comfortable. Like sales, buyers, sellers, got it, nailed it. Like, you know, and I'm like, oh, you know, am I getting a little arrogant? Like, I gotta check myself. Like, sometimes being comfortable isn't a good thing.
Right.
So for me, being uncomfortable it's a new thing, but I think I've learned a lot and I'm excited to kind of kick ass. I don't know. It just do it. Like
Yeah.
it's a scary thing, but now I've done one and now I feel like I could do it all. It just took one.
So
So
it's
for
funny
me,
because
it was just doing it and not listening to the critics. They're like,
yeah.
"Oh, are you sure? Oh, it's December. Horrible time. No, oh, nothing is selling right now." Like all the negativity, like, "Are you sure?" Like, "Oh my God, are you gonna be able to resell it?" Well, yeah, I am gonna resell it and I'm gonna be successful. And it doesn't really matter what market you're in. If you work with good people and do the math, it's not that hard.
Yeah. Well, I am super excited for you. When is it going to be going on the market?
Well, I may have already sold it.
Oh,
I don't know if it's actually going to market. The neighborhood has just fallen in love because I've completely transformed this house. And so it started this little frenzy. And so we'll see if it goes to market. It might not.
that's very cool. That's very exciting. Well,
Yeah,
what's next for
it is
you,
exciting.
Em? What's next for you? More flips? More what's your
I
goal
think
for
we're
2025?
okay. Oh, I'm so excited. And I think it's going to be a great year in real estate. I am very enthusiastic. I'm super positive. I'm going to keep, moving forward, back to basics, mailers, open houses, just keep making babies out of these listings.
Not
And
literally.
no, no, not literally. We're done with that. But real estate real estate babies, listing babies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, we'll do a couple more flips, roll that in there with, the things that I love the most, which is listings, helping. I love first time home buyers. They're
So
so
sweet.
great. They're so grateful.
Yeah.
They're really fun to work with. Um, and I think 2025 is going to be a phenomenal year in real estate. And we've had some changes in the industry and we're rolling through. I mean, it's already like old news, super old
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
So we're just moving forward and thinking positive. Going to travel, take some fun real estate trips with the team, and we're going to have fun. I
That's the most
I
important
love
part.
who says it? Who said make real estate fun
Oh,
again?
Jean Frederick. Yeah.
Gene.
Jean Frederick started that.
Okay.
Yep.
I
Real
like to
estate
have
fun again.
if you know me, I like to have fun and we have a lot of fun in our group. Now,
Yeah.
there are times when the fun is, it's serious business. We're in contract mode, we're negotiating, we're having to give some, good news, bad news, it's a roller coaster daily. But at the end of the day, it really is fun. And it's been a good reminder these last few years that real estate can be fun. And I think a huge part of that is who you surround yourself with. And so I think we have a really fun group and I'm looking forward to 2025.
Oh my gosh, I love some of the I love Trent. He makes me laugh so much because
Yeah.
he's just and I got to get him on my podcast. I keep telling him he's got to get on my podcast because
I told them today, sign up,
I'm
just
like,
do it.
they're hilarious. And then I had Angie not too long ago and she was so great. So let me
She's my
ask you
girl.
this. Are you guys looking to add any agents to your group up there?
We are. We're kind of picky.
Yeah.
So yes, we are. But you know, like you said, it's where the pros go to grow. We want to grow. You know, we we have space. We have an awesome office, awesome events, great trainings, so many opportunities. So we are growing, but we're not looking for just anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's okay to be picky, and I
It's
think it's okay to
totally
say
okay.
that.
Yeah.
It's totally
I think
okay.
it is 100% because I think the industry is going through kind of a constriction right now where it's, a lot of these people who've been kind of doing it on the side or sell one or two houses, those people are not going to survive in this current market. And, we need to have a more professional industry as a whole where, we have people that this is what they do for a living and kind of
Yeah.
raise the bar. And so I'm actually excited about this downsizing, so to speak, of our industry to get really that 20% kind of cleared out of the way to make room for the
Yes.
pros.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of downsizing. I think we're going to see a lot of agents that, maybe got their licenses the last few years, thought it was easy. I think they're going to, fall to the wayside, unfortunately. And it's just going to be about, who is being consistent, who is supplying that really superior client service experience. Those are the agents, along with those who are highly trained and are just super contract experts, which I feel like our group is. I mean, we dive in, we know that contract inside and out, and continue to adapt and evolve as things change. Those are going to be the agents that stick around, because it's not about short game. It's about the long game. You don't want to just jump into real estate for the cash. If you do that,
Yeah,
you're
you're not
kind of
going to make
screwed.
it.
But yeah,
It's
don't
funny
jump
'cause
in for the money. The drama's free.
it's funny because you talk about contract stuff, and it was a couple weeks ago, Trent called me about something, or he pointed out, it wasn't just me, I can't remember where it was, but he was pointed out something it was at your guys' team meeting, and you weren't there that day. And he called out this thing in the contract. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, I had to sit there for a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, as many times I've read that contract, I didn't read it the same way that he did. And I
Yeah.
was like, that's brilliant. Like I didn't really understand the way he was bringing it across, but I was so grateful. I was like, wow, because I hadn't really thought of it that way. And so I love being around people who, challenge the way that things are currently being done. And that is really what helps us grow.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I learn more from my colleagues than anyone really, but it's because we're in the trenches. I mean, we really are a group of full-time agents. And so who would know the law more than those of us that abide by it and practice it, and advise our clients to, you know, go with these go along with these legal contracts. They're
Yeah, 100.
imperative to
Yeah,
know inside and out.
absolutely.
Yeah, so the
Well,
education is constant.
every day I learn something new every day for sure. Well, Emily, thank you so much for taking the time out of your crazy busy schedule and your snow schedule and the whole bit. And I'm so grateful for your time. I adore you, and I'm grateful, super grateful to be in business with you and your whole group up there. They're awesome, and I look forward to doing more stuff with you in the coming year.
Same. Thank you for having me on today.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again on Real Estate Real World, where we get to talk to all the cool people, especially the snow people up there in the cold weather where I am not, for the record. But thank you so much for joining us on Real Estate Real World. Be sure to share on social media and be sure to leave us a great review if you feel so inclined. Thank you so much for joining us, and let us know if you have other special guests you'd love for us to have on our show. We're always looking for great people. Go out and make it an amazing day and enjoy this real estate real world. Thank you for joining us today on Real Estate Real World, where we talk with masters and leaders in the real estate industry and beyond on how we can raise the bar in our industry. Please subscribe over on iTunes, and while you're there, be sure to give us a review. Your reviews encourage us and help others to find our podcast for show notes and hot topics on what's going on right now in our real estate industry. Also, hop on over to www.realestaterealworld.com and add your name to our email to get early advance notice of upcoming podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and go out there and be a part of the elite masterclass and raising the bar on the real estate industry.